Have you ever stopped and wondered, if there's some kind of unseen hand guiding things in your life?
Uh-huh. Those twists and turns you just don't expect.
Exactly. Or those moments where, well, everything seems lost and then suddenly something almost miraculous happens.
Against all odds, yeah.
And how much power does real deep belief actually have when things seem set in stone?
That's a huge question.
Welcome to the deep dive. We take source material you provide and we try to pull out the deepest insights we can find.
And today we're diving into something really fascinating. It's a case study exploring. Well, it touches on family karma, deep faith, and even a kind of miracle at a crisis point.
So our mission today is really to unpack this family's journey. It's laid out through personal stories and this unique dream interpretation.
Right. We're trying to see how, from this specific viewpoint, past actions might show up in the present.
And how a strong conviction, maybe, could actually change things. We'll look at suffering, liberation, and these surprising links that, well, this view says connect us across lifetimes.
It's quite intricate.
Our source material for this is an audio recording. It's presented as a case study about a Chinese family from Penang in Malaysia.
And it gets into these generational patterns, health, wealth, spiritual stuff, all explained through this dream perspective.
Yeah, it's trying to answer the why behind their ups and downs using this particular lens.
So prepare for a look at lives shaped by habits, choices, and these underlying karmic forces, as this teaching puts it.
We'll see examples of hardship that seems, well, hard to explain otherwise, and moments of real spiritual change.
All framed by this idea that understanding the past helps us navigate the present and future.
Okay, let's dig in. This multi-generational family from Penang. Where should we start? Maybe the grandfather.
Good place. He was an office clerk, responsible guy, looked after his family.
But he had some pretty serious habits, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Heavy drinking, chain smoking, gambling, too. And the source notes he was a bit dismissive towards Buddhist monks.
Though he did participate in other things, Chinese associations, deity worship.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But what's really striking is how this dream interpretation connects his past actions directly to his health.
His asthma and high blood pressure, you mean? He died fairly young, 63.
Exactly. The source links that to a past life. Says he was a merchant who, well, killed animals for food and also really overworked his pack animals.
Overworked them, like pushing them too hard.
Yeah, rushing deliveries, never letting them rest properly. It's presented as a very specific cause for his suffering later.
Wow, so even the way he ran his business, how he treated animals, that's seen as having these specific karmic results. What about the drinking and smoking?
Well, the source is quite graphic there. It says when he died, he went straight to Yamaloka.
Which is, in this context, like a kind of purgatory.
Pretty much, yeah. A place
Yeah.
for dealing with unwholesome actions. And there, he was supposedly being force-fed hot copper water and ash.
Oof, that's direct. A
Like-
specific consequence for those specific habits.
Exactly. Not just a general bad outcome, but a direct mirroring, according to this view.
Okay, understood. Let's shift to his wife, the grandmother. Quieter, calmer, a homemaker.
That's the description. Didn't drink, but smoked just as heavily as her husband. She also worshipped Chinese deities.
But she bought animals for offerings, didn't kill them herself. That seems noted as significant.
It is. Her major health issue was kidney failure. She suffered with that for over 10 years before passing away at 77.
And the dream interpretation connects that too.
To her past karma as a loan shark. Apparently, she charged incredibly harsh interest rates, caused a lot of pain and hardship for people who owed her money.
So financial actions causing physical ailments later, that's a recurring theme here, isn't it?
It really seems to be. It emphasizes how actions, even if they seem purely financial or business-related, are seen to have these deep physical repercussions down the line in this teaching.
And her outcome, after passing.
According to this source, she became an earth deity, a famthiva, at a shrine, sort of guarding and serving there.
Interesting. And the smoking karma.
The dream perspective notes that it hadn't fully ripened yet, hadn't manifested in her afterlife state at that point.
Okay, so from these patterns, we get to the father. His story seems really central. Tough childhood.
Incredibly tough.
Yeah.
Literally grew up in a cloud of his parents' smoke. He even started smoking himself as a kid, picking up butts.
Wow. And as an adult, a typewriter repairman. Didn't make much money.
No, not enough to support his family. They ended up moving in with his in-laws and faced a lot of ridicule, apparently, from his wife's side of the family.
And he just accepted it, didn't look for other work.
Seems like it. The source mentions him being sort of content with his smoking and low-paying job.
And the struggle, the poverty, being looked down on, how does the dream explain that?
It links it to a past life where he lacked generosity, what they call dana parami. His stinginess back then, in this view, resulted in a life with scarce resources this time around.
Makes sense within that framework. Then he gets colon cancer, suffers for 2 years, refuses hospital treatment for a long time.
Yeah, relied on traditional Chinese herbalists until the pain was just too much. Only then did he agree to go to the hospital.
And the cancer itself, the interpretation.
That's traced back to using a spear to catch fish in a past life in an agricultural setting. Again, a very specific action linked to a specific illness, taking life leading to a life-threatening disease.
But then, this really pivotal moment happens, his last night.
Right, he's in absolute agony. It's midnight, no doctor around.
Yeah.
His brother gets desperate.
And calls a Buddhist monk from the meditation center right next door.
Exactly. And what's compelling is the immediacy of the response. The venerable just came over and started chanting.
What kind of chants?
Started with evening prayers, then the Adiviso chant that's about the Buddha's virtues, and then the Janto chant, which is a chant of victory.
And the father, who was in so much pain, he actually calmed down, listened.
He did. He calmed down, and the source says he miraculously opened his eyes. His breathing got better. He could even sit up. This was the moment his mind started to shift, away from the intense pain and suffering towards something more wholesome.
And that's when the venerable suggests creating a Buddha image.
Yes, specifically a Dhammakaya Buddha image. In this tradition, that represents the true enlightened body. The venerable frames it as the highest merit possible in that critical situation.
And the father agrees, despite his condition.
Immediately agrees to sponsor one, which raises the question the source itself addresses. How could one act, right at the end, have such a massive impact?
Right, because the outcome wasn't what you might expect given his suffering up to that point.
Exactly. The dream explanation is that because of his underlying, unwavering Buddhist faith, he'd explicitly said he wouldn't change his religion, no matter what, combined with this last-minute act of merit.
He didn't go to Yamaloka.
He didn't, which, the source states, would have been the outcome if his mind had stayed clouded by suffering. Instead, he went to a celestial realm, became an Arakatheva, an aerial deity, living in a big golden palace, apparently full of joy.
That is a dramatic turnaround. From agony and likely purgatory to a golden palace in a heavenly realm.
It's huge.
Yeah.
The source is very clear. If he hadn't heard the chanting, if he hadn't sponsored that image, his mind state was so negative from the pain, Yamaloka was next.
So, the mind state at death boosted by faith and a meritorious act. That's presented as incredibly powerful here.
Absolutely crucial in this framework. It literally altered his destiny, according to this account.
Okay, let's touch on the narrator's older sister. Such a sad story. Died young, 26, in a car accident.
Yes, on her way to a Chinese Buddhist event, tragically, on Chinese New Year.
And the dream interpretation links her short life and accidental death to
Something very severe from a past life. Hiring assassins to kill her husband's enemies and their families too, out of revenge.
Wow, that's heavy. And that's described as cutting short karma.
Precisely, the kind of karma that, in this view, leads to an untimely death.
But despite that, she still ended up in a celestial realm. How does that work?
Good question. Yes, she became a Gandhava deity, a sort of celestial musician in the Katumaharjika realm, one of the lower heavens.
And why was that?
That was attributed to her other past merit, her Buddhist practice and public service from previous times. And the merit her family dedicated to her after her death also helped, increasing her divine resources, so to speak.
So, multiple karmic streams playing out. Heavy negative karma cutting life short, but positive karma determining the rebirth location.
That seems to be the understanding here. It's complex.
Okay, the narrator himself, he was a monk briefly when young, practiced meditation, enjoyed it.
But his faith kind of wavered later on, didn't it? Seeing monks disrobe affected him.
Right. And later in life, his eldest daughter gets sick often, viral infections.
Yes. And the dream interpretation for her illness.
Let me guess, past life actions.
You got it. Killing small creatures, ants, mosquitoes, shrimp, crabs, fish, that kind of thing.
And the advice given.
Stop all killing, obviously. Then make all kinds of merit, practicing morality, meditation, and specifically releasing animals, and dedicating the merit to those specific creatures harmed in the past.
Doing it often, the source says.
Yes, emphasizing consistency. The idea is that heavy karma can become light, and light karma can disappear with enough positive action and dedication.
Okay. And going back to the family's overall situation, the poverty, living with in-laws, facing ridicule. We touched on the father's individual past karma for that, but was there a collective element too?
Yes, definitely. The source explains it as a collective family karma, stemming from past lives where, as a group or family unit, they were stingy and looked down on people less fortunate.
So even when they might have had wealth previously, they were miserly and disdainful.
That's the interpretation.
Yeah.
And that kind of collective karma in this framework leads to shared circumstances like lack of resources and being disdained by others in a future life. It really points to a kind of shared karmic inheritance.
That's quite profound. It's not just individual accounts, but a family's shared journey through these karmic consequences. Now, what about the narrator and his brother being monked temporarily? Did that actually benefit the family members who had passed on?
According to the dream interpretation, absolutely yes. The merit generated from their time as monks was received by both their deceased father and sister.
Oh, really? How did that manifest?
It increased their divine wealth and well-being in their respective realms. The source even mentions the sister being very happy about it and sending thanks.
So individual positive actions can ripple out and help connected family members even after death.
That's clearly shown here. It highlights that individual merit isn't just for oneself in this system.
And the venerable from Penang, the monk who came at midnight, was there a backstory there? A prior connection?
Yes, and this is really insightful. The source reveals he was connected to the family as a Kalyana Mitra, a spiritual friend in past lives.
So he had guided them before.
Apparently so. Guided them towards the Dharma then, just as he did at that critical moment for the father. His own past merit from being a monk and spreading teachings in a previous Buddha era positioned him to play that vital role again.
It suggests these really deep spiritual connections can persist across lifetimes.
Exactly. That these important figures in our lives might not be appearing randomly.
So bringing it to the present for the narrator and his mother, they're now reconnecting with this specific spiritual group associated with the venerable and the dream interpretation, right?
Yes. And the dream suggests this isn't accidental either. It says they were part of this same circle of merit in the past, but drifted away.
Why did it drift away?
Conflicts, worldly attachments, the usual things that can pull people away from a spiritual path, according to this perspective.
So they're coming back now is seen as, what, old karma ripening?
Pretty much. That past good karma eventually drawing them back into the fold. And the advice for them now is clear. Fully commit. Go all in on merit-making, meditation, the whole path, and make a strong intention, a vow, to stay connected to this group, this circle of merit, and not drift away again. It's about consciously reestablishing and strengthening those deep, long-standing spiritual bonds.
Okay, quite a journey through this family's history and the spiritual lens used to interpret it. Let's try to sort of distill the main takeaways from this case study and its dream interpretation.
Right. First off, the sheer impact of actions, even small ones, and how specific the results can be, karmically speaking.
We saw that again and again, didn't we? The grandfather's health tied to overworking animals and killing.
The grandmother's kidney failure linked to being a cruel loan shark. Even the daughter's illnesses trace back to killing tiny creatures.
It's not just do good, get good. It's presented as incredibly precise, like a kind of karmic physics almost, the nature of the action reflecting in the nature of the consequence.
That specificity is really striking throughout the interpretation, yeah. Poetic justice, maybe?
Then there's the huge emphasis on the power of merit and the mind state right at the end, at death.
The father's story is the absolute key example there, isn't it? Facing a terrible outcome based on his suffering.
But his underlying faith, plus that final act of sponsoring the Buddha image, it completely changed his destination, according to the source.
From Yamaloka to a celestial palace, it really hammers home how critical that final mental state, potentially boosted by merit, is viewed in this spiritual path.
And that leads to the idea of the Kalyanamisha, the spiritual friend.
Yeah, the venerable from Penang. His timely intervention wasn't random. It was rooted in past connections. It underscores how important, in this belief system, supportive spiritual friends are, especially in crisis. They might be fulfilling a role established lifetimes ago.
And finally, this interplay between collective family karma and individual effort.
We saw the family's shared struggle with poverty, linked to collective past actions, stinginess, looking down on others.
But then individual merit, like the sons becoming monks temporarily, brought tangible benefits even to family members who had already passed.
Right. It shows that while you might inherit or share in collective karmic patterns, your own actions, your own merit, can still make a real difference for yourself and for the group within this framework. It's not entirely deterministic.
So when you hear all this, what really stands out to you from this deep dive, this case study, framed by this dream perspective, it really paints a picture where life isn't random at all.
Not random, no. It suggests every single choice, every action has weight. It ripples out,
Yeah.
affecting not just your own path, but the paths of people connected to you, maybe even across time.
It definitely challenges you to think, doesn't it? What am I actually building with my actions day to day? Am I creating positive energy, positive karma that helps me and others?
Or am I creating burdens, maybe unknowingly, that can surface later on? This dream view implies a really deep level of interconnectedness and personal responsibility.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If, according to this unique teaching, the mind state and just one heartfelt act of merit at the very end of life can shift destiny so dramatically, what does that imply about the power we might hold over our lives right now in every single moment?